In 1900, a violent storm in the Aegean Sea forced a crew of Greek sponge divers to seek shelter near the tiny island of Antikythera. When diver Elias Stadiatis plunged 150 feet down into the dark Mediterranean waters, he emerged in sheer terror. He claimed he had seen a graveyard of rotting corpses and horses scattered across the sea floor. What he had actually found was the richest ancient shipwreck in history, a luxury Roman cargo vessel that sank over 2,000 years ago. Among gold coins, jewelry, and statues, archaeologists pulled out a lump of corroded green bronze encased in rotting wood. For 2 years, it sat forgotten on a museum shelf, classified as meaningless debris, until the dried wood split open and exposed something that broke modern archaeology. Inside the rock-hard stone was a precision-cut bronze gear wheel with triangular teeth. According to every history textbook on Earth, gearwork of this complexity was not invented until the 14th century. Finding this gear in a 2,000-year-old shipwreck was the historical equivalent of finding a jet engine inside the tomb of King Tut. The X-ray revolution. For decades, mainstream historians dismissed it as a modern clock that accidentally fell onto the wreck, until a multidisciplinary team transported an 8-ton microfocus X-ray tomograph directly to the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. When the X-rays sliced through the corroded bronze casing, scientists were paralyzed by what appeared on their screens. Packed inside a shoebox-sized wooden frame were over 30 intricate hand-cut bronze gears meshed with sub-millimeter precision. The smallest gear was barely a millimeter wide, with teeth carved so uniformly they could only be detected under industrial magnification. This was not a simple mechanical clock. This was an analog computer, simulating the cosmos. By turning a single hand crank on the side, the entire system calculated the universe. The front dial tracked the exact position of the sun, the moon, and the 5 known planets through the zodiac constellation belt. It didn't just show where the moon was, it accounted for its irregular elliptical orbit. The Greeks had calculated that the moon travels faster at certain points in its orbit 1,700 years before Johannes Kepler formulated his laws of planetary motion. On the back panel, 2 spiral dials solved an even darker enigma, predicting the exact hour, day, and color of solar and lunar eclipses. If the eclipse was predicted to turn blood red, the machine flagged specific glyphs to warn ancient rulers of impending divine omen. The lost Archimedes lineage, who possessed the genius to build a machine that outpaced the scientific capability of the entire ancient world. CT scans revealed over 3,400 hidden Greek characters inscribed into the bronze plates, serving as a built-in user manual. Dialect analysis traced the calendar system directly to Corinthian colonies in Syracuse, the exact hometown of the legendary mathematician Archimedes. Roman politician Cicero wrote in the 1st century BC that Archimedes had built a bronze sphere that reproduced the motions of the heavenly bodies. For over 2,000 years, modern historians claimed Cicero was exaggerating. The Antikythera mechanism proved he was telling the exact truth. Which leads to the most terrifying question of all. If humanity could build computers in 150 BC, what happened to this technology? The 1,000-year Dark Age. When Rome collapsed and the ancient Mediterranean plunged into war, this mechanical mastery evaporated. Bronze was melted down into weapons, scrolls were burned in library fires, and the blueprint for the computer was erased from human memory. It would take humanity another 1,500 years until the dawn of the Renaissance to rediscover the mathematical gearwork the Greeks mastered in 150 BC. If this single ship had not wrecked on the rocks of Antikythera, we would never have known that the ancient world was just decades away from an industrial revolution. The Antikythera mechanism is living proof that history is not a straight line of continuous progress. It is a cycle of discovery, collapse, and forgotten genius. But while the Greeks were building computers to track the stars, beneath the rocky hills of Turkey, an entire civilization was carving an 18-story city 280 feet into solid bedrock. Complete with ventilation shafts, animal stables, churches, and 1,000-pound rolling stone doors to seal out an unknown apocalyptic threat. What were 20,000 people hiding from beneath the earth? Click the video on your screen right now to enter the underground labyrinth of Derinkuyu.